From Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, this is Tar Heel Illustrated publisher Andrew Jones along with Jacob Turner. We just got some answers to the many questions that we've been asking Jacob. We did a video with a bunch of THI tailgaters earlier in the day, and we had a lot of questions. And we got a lot of takes. What do you think you might see? What would you like to see? There are a lot of things that we can hit on here, but we're going to zero in on just a few. Sam Howell, the Tar Heels actually winning a game, ending the streak of losing 11 straight openers to Power 5 teams, exercising some other demons, which is in my column. For example, winning a game in the fourth quarter. Lots of stuff, Jacob. What stood out to you?
I think what stood out to me the most was one thing. I think the biggest thing that we've touched on all week and touched on before the game was there was a lot of positions that really had to step up. One of those being Chaz Surratt. I thought Chaz Surratt had a monster game. And for a guy who hasn't played linebacker since high school and only played limited time at linebacker in high school, he looked like he didn't miss a beat today. I thought he was spectacular. I thought he did a really good job of coming in and doing what he needed to do in order to be successful and kind of helping this defense out. Other things that impressed me, Sam Howell, obviously. I think Sam Howell was phenomenal. I think he did a great job. I think this team as a whole, just guys stepped up that we weren't sure were going to step up. And I think that's what really helped Carolina get over that hump today. You saw depth come in off the bench, play well. You saw guys like Surratt, like Howell, that had question marks about them, that stepped up and played well. And I think that's why we're sitting here talking about a Carolina win, because those question marks were answered.
I had huge questions about the depth on defense. Jaleel Taylor played quite a bit, played well. The linebacker situation, I mean, they're all kind of reserves in some respects when you think about it, because this is Chaz's first game at linebacker since he was a freshman in high school. Jeremiah Gemmel played 10 snaps at linebacker last year. There was no Dominique Ross in this game. Jonathan Smith is suspended for the first 2 games. He wasn't available. Matthew Flint gave him some snaps today. And in the secondary, Trey Morrison, who might be, some people think he's the best defensive player on the team, goes down on the first series. You pointed that out. You're like, oh, man, Morrison's hurt.
Yeah, it was huge loss.
He didn't come back in, so they had Storm Duck, a true freshman, over there at corner. And after the first 2 possessions, where South Carolina amassed 133 yards, the Gamecocks had just 137 in their final 11 possessions. And Carolina did it with a defense that was kind of patched together in some respects and didn't have great depth, but the depth that did play got the job done. Greg Ross played the best game of his Carolina career. He got a lot of flack from Carolina fans last year and the year before, but he's wearing a 3rd number I've seen him wear since he got to Carolina, wearing number 10 out there tonight. He played a good game. I think that the defense toughening up, manning up, was huge. Jason Strobridge played really well. Aaron Crawford's just taking up 2 blockers every time. Again, Surratt, 12 tackles. He had a sack. He had a quarterback hurry. He had a pass breakup. And his tackles, he's meeting guys straight on.
Yeah.
He's hitting them. He's meeting the play. It means he's reading the play in advance. He's reacting to it. He's meeting straight on. We've seen some really good linebackers in this program in the last few years make a lot of tackles from the side and behind. I don't think he made more than 1 from the side or behind that was on the positive side of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
So that says something about the guys in front of him doing their job, and it says that Chaz was doing his job as well.
Yeah, Chaz had a great game. I thought Chaz looked really well. I thought this defense as a whole really surprised me, because my biggest question mark was not on the offense. My biggest question mark was on the defense. And granted, I've always been confident in bringing Bateman in. I think Bateman's a great hire. I think we saw today what Bateman can do with a group that has a lot to prove. And don't get me wrong, they have some depth out there. There was still a lot of question marks about who's going to step up. How is this guy going to play? How is so-and-so going to play? And we saw that today, and those were answered because, I mean, your biggest question mark was the offense. And while the offense struggled in the first half, maybe up until late in the 3rd quarter, what they did in the last, 12, 15 minutes of the game is really what sparked this team. But give credit to the defense. Miles Wolford with 2 interceptions. They kept Carolina in this game because South Carolina has some opportunities. I mean, what was it, 20-9 at one point, 20-6 at one point? South Carolina has some opportunities to just blow this game wide open. Yeah, to just blow this game wide open. Carolina's defense stuck around, did some nice things, and when the offense got a chance, they made a play, and at the end of the game, and give credit to Bo Corrales, give credit to De'Ami Brown.
Made plays.
Yeah, they made plays, and that's really what matters.
We said guys had to make plays, and you also noted my bigger concern was more the offense. I think we saw some of that, but it took them a while to get going. But I think part of that was kind of self-induced because they didn't it took a while to turn Sam loose, and they didn't totally turn him loose. I think we're going to see that process evolve over the next few games, but they did open things up some more. And I think one of the great things about this game for Carolina is Sam's going to get confidence when guys make catches. Remember we did did one last week where I said if the guys are dropping balls, it's going to affect your true freshman's confidence. Well, he made 2 really good throws to De'Ami Brown, the one-handed catch, and to Bo Corrales, the catch that he made. Maybe other guys don't make those catches and they're incomplete passes, but they're really good passes because he gave them catchable balls in the end zone. That's all he has to do. It doesn't have to look picture perfect. It doesn't have to look like there's nobody defending him and it's scripted. He has to give them a chance to make a play, and he did that, and they made the plays. So they're confident in his ability to get them the ball in the end zone. He's confident in their ability to haul that thing down, and that just makes guys get a lot better, a lot faster. And I think the respect that this group, we knew that they had a lot in Sam already. They respected him a lot. I think it grew a lot today. A great quote from Michael Carter when I asked him about Sam's evolution during the course of the game, and he said, he got comfortable with being uncomfortable. At Sun Valley High School, he was probably never uncomfortable. Maybe in the game, whenever they would lose in the state playoffs, maybe a little bit there. But he was uncomfortable early because the game is uncomfortable at this level until you become, Heisman Trophy type guy, and he's obviously not that right now. But he got comfortable in those situations enough to learn how to deal with it. And remember what we also talked about with Sam? He makes the unscripted plays. So the most uncomfortable moment for him perhaps was when the South Carolina defender had him by the jersey. He got away somehow, and he rolls to his right and then finds Daz Newsome down the field on a ball that could have been picked, maybe should have been picked.
Probably, it should have.
But he made a play. In the end, that's all that matters. He made a play. He grew, they grew, the defense grew. This team won a fourth quarter game and it was in position to lose a fourth quarter game. Do I never need to remind you about Virginia Tech last year? I was up at the Carrier Dome watching them blow that game against Syracuse when a backup quarterback lit them up. None of that stuff happened tonight. And I'm glad you mentioned Miles Woolfolk. 2 interceptions. Carolina, no FBS program has had fewer interceptions the last 3 seasons than UNC. And they got 2 in the last 2 possessions, basically, that South Carolina had the ball. That's huge, Jacob.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things I was looking forward to seeing today was seeing Woolfolk and Dorn play, because throughout fall camp, they've just impressed me so much. They've been the leaders back there, but they've also looked the most solid in the limited time we've been able to see them. They look like the guys that look the most confident back there. They're some of the most experienced guys on the defensive side of the ball. So credit to Woolfolk for coming out there and making plays, especially late on. Credit for Dorn for making some big tackles. Obviously, he missed some tackles too. There's definitely room for improvement on both sides of the ball, but I thought I was very impressed with them. And one thing I'm going to say about Howell real quick is not only did the players' confidence grow in Howell, and Howell's confidence in himself grow, I think the coaching staff grew in confidence, because we saw in that first half where Carolina was just handing the ball off. They get in the red zone and they would hand the ball off. I think I saw a stat where
nine plays in the red zone in the first half, all 9 were runs.
All 9 were runs. So I think we'll have to ask him on Monday what really was behind that, whether it was not having confidence in how to make those throws, not feeling like they had the receivers to make plays down there. But as we saw in the second half, when they let Howell loose and they let those receivers loose and they threw balls up for the playmakers to go get, and De'Ami Brown and Bo Corrales, they did that, and it ended up working for them. So it was good to see that late on in the game.
There's a lot to clean up, and Max said after the game that tomorrow during film room, Sunday during film room, the players are going to think they lost the game.
He was not
there was a lot of ugly stuff on special teams. There were some terribly timed penalties, which is something that UNC fans have seen a lot the last few years. And then there were a few other things, but really I think that the pass blocking wasn't great, but I was really impressed with the run blocking. South Carolina's got a very good front line.
They do.
And that group that UNC has up front, Montilus had never played a college snap before. You got Tucker and McKeithen, who had combined played 135 snaps. Polino playing center for the first time in his life. Charlie Heckmount, left tackle instead of right tackle. And they did a really good job.
They did.
They deserve credit. Stacey Searles deserves credit for getting that group ready. Pass pro needs some work.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's one of the reasons why you have a guy who can make unscripted plays back there. I've been told by people, talking to people, if you know what I mean, that he's been compared by some in the upper rings there in the program. They remind him of Brett Favre. We saw that on that play I noted where Daz got that 23-yard reception. That drive ended with Bo Corrales' touchdown. And by the way, before we sign off here, touchdown drive of 98 yards, Antonio Williams, 4 runs, 53 yards, and then the other touchdown drive, 95 yards. They exercised a lot of demons today.
They did.
They really did, and they can only grow from here. I think the way you view their season moving forward changes a lot now, as opposed to what maybe a lot of us, myself included, were thinking how it would play out, 8 hours ago. What time? I mean, it's almost midnight in Charlotte. So earlier today, I'm thinking, okay, maybe 6-6 is kind of what we might be looking at. Everything changes now. Miami's a winnable game. Wake Forest is a winnable game. App State's a winnable game. And then they win one of the next 2 games. Clemson comes into town. That's going to be an ABC primetime game because it fits perfectly. Max Tiers on ABC today, or on ESPN today. All that stuff sets up perfectly for that kind of opportunity for them to give themselves.
I think 3 things Carolina did that I don't think they do last year. I don't think they make those 2 90-plus yard drives from behind. I don't think the defense make those stops late. We've seen it so many times where Carolina lets up those late game-winning drives. And I don't think we see some of the guys like Surratt. I'm not only to mention Surratt, Howe. There's so many guys on this team, even off the bench, that came in. Even Storm Belk came in and played some good minutes. Greg Ross came in and played some good minutes. I don't think we see guys come off the bench and contribute significant minutes. This team's confidence, they've been talking about it all fall camp. They forgot about last year. They forgot about what's happened in the past, and I think this team's confidence right now is as high as it's been in a very long time.
Human nature. They were saying that, and I think that they did as much as they could, but they didn't. They couldn't entirely cut that cord until they did what they did today.
Yep.
And a perfect example that the new vibe we've been talking about fully settled in when this game ended and they won. You and I were back there in the bowels of the building waiting for the interviews for Max Presser, and we had to move to the side, and the team came through the tunnel into the locker room, and they were very, very excited. But the guy that stood out to me
exactly what you're going to say.
Jace Ruder.
Yep, Jace Ruder. He
was as excited and happy as anybody there. And for the people that the quarterbacks, they say their relationships are great all the time. Well, it's absolutely that relationship is good, and he cares. He cares about this team. He wants to win. They all suffered through a lot of crap last year, and that crap is gone. So now when the kids say, we've cut the cord to the past, I think it's 100% real.
Yeah, and you can go see Ruder's reaction in the tunnel on our all-access video we put out. One more thing I'll say about Ruder, I want to say it was after the touchdown that Carolina took the lead. I saw him on the sidelines walking around, and he was as excited as anybody on that sideline. So they talk about the quarterbacks not having that relationship, like you said. Ruder's bought in, and if something happens, if anything happens to Howell, what injuries, God forbid, I think Ruder's ready to step in, and he's not sitting on the sidelines moaning. He's not sitting on the sidelines moping. He's ready when his number's called to come in there. He's being a good teammate, and that's what we've heard from him.
He'll keep pushing Sam.
Exactly.
And push himself.
It's a healthy competition.
Absolutely. That's and they just need him to be ready. I think it's a great sign. To some people, they may think it's small. Having done this for 24 years, when you have little things like that fill in the cracks for a team, that's how a team becomes whole. They don't become whole because a few parts move forward. All the parts have to move forward.
It's got to be 100%.
And when your backup quarterback, the guy that was just beaten out, and the guy who maybe thought he should start or certainly entered camp thinking I'm going to win the job, when he's that excited over a win like this, especially when the other guy played really well in the second half and grew up a lot, that's a great sign for the whole of this team moving forward. By the way, don't forget to go to our website, TarHeelIllustrated.com. We've got a phenomenal deal going on right now. You can access everything we do for free through the Georgia Tech game on October 5th. And if you sign up for a 1-year subscription at just $99, you get 6 months added on for free. It's like $5.50.
Hey, like you said,
that's like the price of like half a beer at this game today, is what I'm told.
It's a bad hamburger, like you said.
Bad hamburger,
bad hamburger with that money.
Or like what, a large fry? I don't even know how much that stuff costs.
I don't know what you can get at a game for $5.
You can't buy a coffee at a foo-foo coffee joint for that much money.
That's 100% right.
You have to spend like $2 or $3 more.
You're not getting much for $5. Go check us out. The Mac is Back deal is on. I mean, if anybody should be fired up about Mac being back, it should be after this game.
Yeah, absolutely. So go to our site, sign up, become a member. You get everything that we do, and there's so much more in the message boards than you see on the front page. Anyway, any final thoughts? I can't wait for Miami. I can't wait for the next time we do one of these things, because we finally have a lot of stuff to talk about. Yeah. We only just touched on it in this podcast.
You should have seen how giddy AJ was after this game, just because he was like, man, we finally have so much to talk about.
Yeah, and it wasn't the outcome. Let me clarify.
No, it wasn't the outcome. No,
I'm very particular about that.
No, it wasn't that.
It was, I said, we were on like 8 stories now.
Yeah, there's just so much storylines to take away from that game, no matter how you look at it. But if you're covering Carolina, so many things happen in that game. We could be up till we could not go to sleep for 24 hours and keep writing. And
we'd be up there writing right now, but they kicked us out.
Yeah,
so
they did.
Now I get to drive back to Raleigh. I'll get home around 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Then I'll write my column.
Yeah.
You'll send me the video, and everything will be good to go by the time you guys see this in the morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Grind doesn't stop. Nope, that's it, man.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. It's fun stuff to have something to sink our teeth into after a full month of fall camp, which seems like about 6 months, right?
Yeah. Oh, it seems like forever.
And now the season will fly. Miami next week. We'll be at Mac's press conference on Monday. Coach Longo and Bateman also at their press conference. We'll do a video then. We'll have full report for you guys, what they have to say, putting this game to bed and looking ahead toward Miami next Saturday night. The Keenan Stadium's going to be a full house, too.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a good game.
All right, for Jacob Turner, this is Andrew Jones. This is TarHeelIllustrated.com. Thanks for stopping by.